I was asked if, in my opinion, does avoidance cause a lack of spontaneity? And I would say absolutely yes. And there's actually quite a few different levels that affects me, which is why I thought I'm going to make a video. First of all is places I go. I go to places that are safe only. And I actually have quite a few of them. And it's not like I have agoraphobia at all. It's more like I'm comfortable in these places for whatever reason. Like I'm comfortable in my house. And I'm comfortable if I'm in places where I'm not recognized. So for instance, I'll go on trips to other cities or stuff like that, or day trips or something. They're very overwhelming. They're really good for getting the people hit, and nobody will see or recognize me. Like I wouldn't ever be able to say go on a cruise. Oh my God, no, because you get assigned a waiter that stays with you for the entire week, and that would not work. And safe places can become unsafe. For example, okay, here's some more examples of lack of spontaneity. My son, 100 years ago, wanted to join the Cub Scouts. It took me 3 years to get to the point where I could let him join the Cub Scouts because it was just the idea of being around other people and having them, you know, having to interact for so long. I mean, it took me 3 years. And then after I got used to that idea, then it was so stressful that what we would do is after Cub Scouts, we would go out to dinner every night. And this was actually therapy request that they said that it was, one, I needed somebody to do a little bit of self-care for me, so having them, somebody else prepare food for me even if I was paying for it, but also that they said I should not go straight home because I could be basically too self-destructive if I didn't have witnesses. Seriously. So so we would go out and we would go to the same restaurant every week. And what happened, I mean, because it was okay, you know, they had different waiters, it was quiet, it was all right, until manager one day said, oh God, you're here every week, and gave us free dessert. That was it. No longer safe. So, I mean, that's not even like a spontaneous thing. That was like every week we did the same thing. And then, but I got like, it was too comfortable and I had been leaving. So we found a different restaurant to go to. And it only lasted a year. Maybe 2 years. I don't know. But it was very short amount. I think it was 1 year that he was in the Cub Scouts. That's all I could take. Maybe 2. I don't remember. But yeah, so there's that sort of lack of spontaneity. To be able to talk to somebody else takes quite a bit of doing. Now, these videos, you think that, oh, you know, I sort of think about them. I don't script them, but I think about them quite a bit. They might seem like I'm making them really, really fast. Maybe I just think really, really fast. But I more or less have to know what I'm going to say. Plus, you're not talking back. That's a big help. You're not talking back, so I don't have to think on my feet. But being able to talk with somebody is just, it's very, very, very difficult for me. It's one of the reasons I do therapy, is because it sort of keeps that sort of small skill going, even though in therapy, of course, it's not really a back and forth. It's, I mean, it is, but it's not, because I'm not hearing anything about the therapist. Okay, how else does it affect me? I had all these ideas and now they're gone. As far as making big life choices, I don't do that, like, ever. I'm a big, big planner. And so I more or less know what I'm going to do like a year ahead of time sometimes. I mean, I can if push comes to shove and I absolutely have to do something because I don't have a choice or some terrible thing has happened. I can make quick decisions, but generally, it might seem like a snap decision. I get that a lot because people are, they don't know what's going on. Like when I was younger, actually, even when I had my son, sometimes I'll plan trips and I won't tell anybody because then I have to deal with them asking about it and everything else. And when you talk about it ahead of time and get all excited about it and blah, 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 and I just can't handle it. So we would go on trips and I would send postcards. And then I would be home again already, and they would say, I got this postcard. Did you go across the country? And I'd be like, yeah, I did. So it seems to people like I'm really spontaneous. Like I just do things like out of, but that's just because I don't talk about it ahead of time. I think about it a lot and plan it a lot. But I don't tell people. So I'm not actually spontaneous. Interacting one-on-one, yeah, no. It's really obvious when I'm trying to suggest something to somebody because I'm terrified. And I mean, see, I'm getting shaky right now just thinking about it. Yeah, it's not a happy thing for me to do, to trust somebody and depend on them that let's just do something different. No. I mean, it's easier, of course, with my son because I'm the mom and I can say, kid, get in the car, we're leaving right now. And again, those things that I say, kid, get in the car, we're leaving right now, I've been planning for a couple weeks at least. So, yeah. So, I think that's basically it. As far as talking with people, very difficult to definitely start a spontaneous conversation. Well, unless, I don't know. See, I have a way of being able to talk to, like, wait staff about really dumb things. I mean, really dumb things, like some stupid thing that happened in the news. I'll check and see what's going on, and then usually be able to have a really short, we're talking like 2 or 3 sentences back and forth conversation about any old dumb thing. It gets any deeper than that, I can't. So I can do that if it's somebody I know I'll never see again. And that's the key. I can't do that if it's somebody that I feel is everybody's going to judge me. But if I feel that somebody's going to judge me and be able to hold it over me in any way, shape, or form, and I'll ever hear about it ever again, yeah, no conversations. I can't be spontaneous in conversations. I can sort of usually a little bit in a very quiet manner, as long as I'm speaking like maybe 10% of the time. A little bit I can talk with people about stuff. So conversations, no. Being in places, no. I mean, that's most avoidant people I know, that even if they are out in the world, have like, they'll call it a cave or something. It's a room of the house. They'll call it whatever. They'll call it, it'll be their bedroom, it'll be an office, it'll be the garage where they get, go out and work or something like that. But there'll be some place that's their place that other people, even in their family, and definitely nobody outside of the family is allowed to be in. Because like in my house, I mean, I basically never, ever, 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 ever have anybody in my house. We have workers every once in a while. My mother drops in the house a handful of times a year, and that's it. I don't have friends. My son does. He doesn't have friends over either. We do not have people in the house, and it's sort of like, I run into issues with therapy because they're like, yeah, we could do therapy in your house. And I'm like, no, you can't. Absolutely not. No, 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 no. And they're like, you can handle other people in your house. And I'm like, no, I definitely, absolutely cannot, because it's a safe space. You know, and yeah, I mean, it is, I think I've just said this, but being somewhere like in a shopping mall is really, really hard for me, even though it's incredibly, you know, sort of a selfish place where people are self-centered and they couldn't care less about anything. But that's a place where I think choices come into, you know, and so I feel judged about it. Grocery shopping. If I get noticed too many times, if people make a comment, oh my God. I was in a Target and I bought this one little dinky thing, and the cashier said something about it, and then the lady behind said something about it too. And those two got into quite a conversation with each other. But let me tell you, it's like, I don't think I can ever shop in a Target again, because I feel like I'm going to be judged by what I get there. So, yeah, so I'm not spontaneous about places I go. I'm not spontaneous about planning trips even when I need them. But, you know, trip planning actually is a very helpful, sort of therapeutic, happy type thing anyway, so that's okay. Yeah. I think the most spontaneous thing I might do is figure out what we're going to have for dinner late. But then that's because the house already has all the food and I can make like 10 different things and I just pick one of the 10. I don't really count that as spontaneous. Spontaneous would be like, oh, I don't want to cook, let's go out to dinner somewhere. No. That doesn't happen. Yeah. So I think I've covered everything and talked way longer than I probably should have, and answered this one little yes or no question with a whole lot of gobbledygook here. But yeah, no, I'm not spontaneous at all. Because I have to, it's a self-preservation thing. I have to protect myself. The avoidance makes me keep, you know, sort of do disaster planning ahead of time for everything to figure out what exactly could be like a worst case scenario, and can I handle that or not. And I really come up with some really awful ideas, but I have to make sure that I can handle seriously the worst. And if I can handle the worst thing that can handle that could happen, okay, then I can do that. But I have to have that all planned out ahead of time, and I can't function. And I mean, that sounds crazy, and it sounds outrageous, and it sounds like I'm being dramatic and over-exaggerating. But seriously, I can't function if I think that something could happen that I'm not prepared for. It's like everything shuts down beyond fear response. So, you know, I'm not sure that is really avoidance per se. I mean, it might be part of it. It's my coping technique for the avoidance is what it is. So anyway, yeah, I think I've said everything I possibly could say about this subject. So bye.